deep down you know it. The NBA did the right thing by suspending Draymond Green for a game. Andrew Perloff, what's going on, my friend?
Okay, they did the right thing by maybe calling a foul. I don't even know if they called a foul. It was flagrant two.
Yeah.
Maybe it should have been a flagrant one. I could see an argument kicking him out of the game in the fourth quarter of game 2 of the series with the Kings and Warriors.
Which they did.
I could see that. I thought it was a little too much. But suspending a game for that little tussle, that little kerfuffle.
Yeah, that little stepping on that other guy's chest
while
he was
his own ankle.
laying on the ground. Here we are again. So it's Wednesday, and we found out late last night, Perloff, during the Suns-Clippers game, that Draymond Green is going to be suspended for Game 3. Now, what was weird about this is that Shams Charania had said he did not think that Draymond was going to be suspended, and his info is like airtight. So you know that the league office must have been deliberating this into the night. And I'll give you the 3 things that they said are the reasons why he was suspended for Game 3. Now, by now, all of us, if you were listening to the show, you've seen Draymond Green stepping on Domantas Sabonis, I'm sure. I ask you, was it excessive and over the top?
Yeah, sure.
Check. Was it conduct detrimental, how he behaved?
Detrimental to who?
The game.
To the NBA?
To the NBA, to the game, to his own team.
Wait. I don't know what that means. Is that one of their criteria? Is his conduct detrimental, then they just cut off the sentence there?
It's conduct detrimental, and then is he a repeat offender? Yes. Even by a generous standard, you would say that reached the bar on all 3 of those things. Of course he's getting suspended.
How is that detrimental to the league?
It's not a great look, Perloff. It really isn't. You don't want, we love it when guys play hard. We love, like, the enforcers of the past. We fetishize 90s basketball. Guys were arm-barring each other, and Bill Laimbeer and all that stuff. You know, the Knicks of the 90s, the Heat of the 90s, the Bad Boys Pistons. But you don't want a guy who's a known agitator, an instigator, like Draymond Green, stepping on somebody. Like, that's not good for your league.
Okay, do you realize that there's a lot of playoffs left? Someone's accidentally going to step on somebody before this thing is over. Now they're going to have to be on top of all this. They're setting this precedent because this kind of stuff happens every game. How many times do guys get arm locked and one flings their arm to the right and it looks like what you could call a punch? Are they going to kick all those people out too?
Well, if it rises to the level of these 3 things, I think that you are going to get suspended. Now, Draymond's in kind of a class of his own, though.
What is this repeat history? This is 2016?
No, this was last year with Desmond Bane, where he pulled him down underneath the basket. This is the 4th time, actually, that Draymond has been suspended. And so...
Over how many years?
Well, his career, whenever he got drafted, 2012, 13, whatever it was. Okay, but you're asking the league here to what? Pardon Draymond? Like,
no, not even pardon. Just you already kicked him out
the other way.
You kicked him out for the final 8 minutes of a crucial playoff game.
Okay, but it's not the league's fault that Draymond then acted like a WWE heel on the way out too.
So was that it?
I think that's part
define
of
your term. I want to hear Adam Silver tell us what it was.
I think that's the conduct detrimental.
Was it because the commissioner was in the stands and he didn't like to hear Draymond going back and forth with his precious fans, who he doesn't treat well at all, by the way?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing about Adam Silver, the commissioner, was in the stands. Adam Silver may be the most player-friendly commissioner that has ever existed in professional sports. I can't even think of another one, not nearly in my lifetime, where someone who has bent over backwards for the players on so many occasions. He defends load management. He has been so player empowerment.
Wait, that's team, though, right? Load management.
Look, it's team and player. Has there ever been a commissioner who has a better relationship between himself and the players? Roger Goodell sure as hell doesn't. I mean, Gary Bettman, are you crazy? This is pretty remarkable. So to say, like, now Adam Silver has some kind of, like, grudge against Draymond or he was super offended. No, this is just the league. This is behavior that's not right. It's not about whether Adam Silver was in the stands or not.
Okay, you're right. It's not right, but isn't this such a major deal to really disrupt the entire playoffs for this? Is it that big a deal? We're watching a screen here.
Yeah.
It happened so fast. could you just give him the 1-game ejection, the part of the game, and be done? Why are you making this a bigger deal? That's what's detrimental to the league. Now, all of a sudden, you've gutted this series. I mean, you just destroyed this series.
I still think people are going to watch.
They might watch, but first of all, you might get 4 games. And second of all, the Kings, well, statistically have a huge advantage here. Everyone's going to say, oh, the Warriors lost because they kicked out Draymond, which isn't even true. But that's what the narrative is going to be. No one's going to remember that the Kings beat the Warriors. They're going to remember, oh, that's a series that Draymond was kicked out.
Okay, whose fault is it, though? It's Draymond's fault for causing this. Even if you thought him stepping on Sabonis is, not that big of a deal.
Not that big a deal.
Okay, you think it's not that big of a deal. You don't have to make a circus out of it. Do the Hulk Hogan looking up to, putting your hand behind your ear, wanting the crowd to boo you, jawing back and forth with the Kings fans who are behind your bench, laughing about it in the press conference after the fact, showing no contrition whatsoever, and basically making a mockery of the whole thing.
Right, because it's a joke, as he should do.
I don't think so. I think that, along with the actual act of stepping on him, I think. But beyond that, it wasn't like, hey, then you also have to leave the court in a timely manner. Did he do that? All these things are decisions Draymond made. Decisions he made. He milked it. He milked it, and he went back at the fans, and you are basically daring the league to suspend you. And you know what? They freaking did.
Yeah.
So he only has himself to blame for this. And you can't mess around here. I don't know who's going to win this series, whether it's the Kings or the Warriors, but all I know is this. The Warriors are the defending champs, so you're not going to take anything away from them.
Yeah.
But do they look like the same team from last year?
No, they're clearly way older. Clay doesn't have lost a step.
Right, and especially on the defensive side.
No, I know, but that's not. No one's going to talk about that.
No,
That'll never be connected to this series. Now it's the Draymond series.
Well, but that's where this is where his antics become even more selfish. Because
selfish how they were going to lose in 6 and now they're going to lose in 5.
I don't know if they were going to lose in 6. Maybe they were, but now you're basically leaving your team who can't afford to sacrifice anything on the defensive end because already you're facing a Kings team that is a historically good offense. It's historically good. You can say, oh, everyone in the NBA is a good offense now. They are incredibly good in offensive efficiency. They're one of the best ever to do it. So now you're losing Draymond Green, one of the great defensive players of all time, I was told yesterday by you and Rohan. So in that way, Draymond's actions are so selfish because you need every part of your defense to try to stop the Kings, and now you just took a big piece. You took yourself out.
Yes, okay, all that is true, by the way. But when you're actually talking about what are the real effects of this, one, it's going to water down the Kings' eventual playoff win, which is a shame. Second of all, it is actually strangely a lifeline to the Warriors who are headed down a losing path.
Yeah, explain
because now they're going to have to, the officials, the rest of the series is going to be one giant makeup call.
Yeah.
Because the officials know that what Sabonis did was not right. And they know that they've been the Kings have been grabbing a lot. So now they're going to call all that. Golden State goes home where they're a much better offensive team. I think this could give them a little bit of life. It could get them fired up.
This is the part of it that bothers me because I think that the NBA did the right thing here.
Right.
What bothers me about it is I think it turned Draymond into a sympathetic figure now.
Yeah, maybe. Also,
odd place for him.
They're also going to be giant hypocrites when something else happens later down the road and they don't do anything about it, which is inevitably going to happen because that play was not so outrageous by any means.
Well, and you see that the Warriors, a team source telling ESPN they're livid about the decision.
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's something going on behind the...
Be livid with Draymond. Don't be livid about the decision. Be livid about your player who can't control himself.
I get the sense that the Warriors and the league are not on the same page about something completely different now because, honestly, if you eyeball that, if you were live and you were sitting in the front row and that happened, would you say it happened really quickly?
Yeah.
Would you say, oh, well, that's a huge event that's going to change the entire series? No, that was such a quick bang, bang play. Yes, of course, Draymond added a little mustard on that.
Yeah, a little mustard.
But Sabonis grabbed his ankle.
Mustard factory.
Sabonis grabbed his ankle. I mean, honestly, you could eject the guy for that easily.
And he got the tech for it. Joe Dumars was asked about it by Woj. Joe Dumars now is the person who hands down the suspensions and stuff for the league. And he was asked about it, and he said, no, he got the technical, and the Warriors got to shoot the free throw for it. And even Robert Horry, who joined us yesterday, 7-time NBA champ, said the grabbing of the ankles is actually something more common that you'd see in basketball as opposed to then stepping on the person's chest.
Yeah, I would say, by the way, the league is not exactly on a heater. Silver's had a lot of decisions that have not worked out well. He sort of was the darling commissioner of the media, and now he's not. I mean, I think it started with China, but it's been downhill. So I don't know that this is going to work out for them. I think this is honestly going to be more detrimental. I think the original report that Shams had, they should have gone with that and not suspended him, ejected him for that game. Yeah. Because you're so right. Draymond has become sympathetic. It's changed the narrative in a way that it shouldn't for this series. And watch out for the makeup calls. They're coming.
The makeup calls are definitely coming. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Warriors won the game tomorrow. Like, obviously.
Yeah,
I think they might win anyway. But the thing is like the Draymond, when he used to like get ejected or he'd get technicals, it usually had a way of like really firing up his team, or like the Warriors would end up getting the last laugh.
Except for the Cavs
for the Cavs final, which they basically had the biggest, blown lead in finals history. But like I think a lot of times the team gets amped off of it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's happening. I think you're getting a backfire on this one because I think the Kings might be too good.
Well, don't you think though? Well, maybe, but don't you think the Warriors are going to play with 30% more energy now? Well, this is definitely lighting a fire. If there's any fire to be lit, this is going to do it.
Well, I mean, they're also down 0-2. So if you can't light a fire when you're down 0-2 and going home, when the Kings now have a 92% chance of winning this series, if you want to look historically, then you shouldn't even be on the court.
Right. I think that it's interesting. If they can win this game, then it's a series again, because they'll probably be favored in game 4. If they make it 2-2, the Kings are a better team. You and I kind of both agree on that right now. But the pressure of knocking them out in a game 7 feels scary for a team that hasn't done it yet, to me. So if I'm the Warriors, I'm just desperately trying to make this go long. I don't think it will. You've been on the Kings bandwagon longer than me, but I think it's almost a lifeline to the Warriors, because if they can win game 3, then it's on.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We've got a lot to do today. Of course, this is one of the big stories because, to be honest, no one was expecting it, even me. And I thought Draymond was clearly in the wrong and thought he deserved a suspension. Never thought the NBA was going to do it because of what you said. I think they're conscious of how good this series has been. The ratings are up.
Yeah.
Like, why would you pull something like this? But to be honest, it's not the league's. Like, the league's, yes, it's their job to make sure the matchup is as good as humanly possible, but it's also their job to hold people accountable. And Draymond's stuff has just gotten so old.
You're the person who thought that they froze the Patrick. You're positive that they froze the Patrick Ewing envelope in the 1985 draft lottery. You think everything the league does is a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, them pushing forward, you're saying that the league is not cognizant of who's playing and what the time is?
I think they are, which is why I thought, but I like the fact that they've actually put the right thing to do ahead of what would have been the best ratings thing.
Come on, the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do.
It's not like a human rights violation because he stepped on Sabonis' chest. The right to accountability. These words are too strong for whatever that was.
It's not. When it comes to Draymond, it's not.
You stepped on my chest yesterday.
You told me to.
Well, I don't know. Did somebody tweet us and said,
am I going to be suspended for the day?
Yeah, no. Someone said management won't let you eat a jar of peanut butter. They let Maggie step on your chest. Where's management?
Everybody should.
Well, I laughed too because I'm like, yeah, we definitely didn't ask management whether they thought it was a good idea.
No.
By the way, that was more dangerous than people know because you had nowhere to step off. There's a 6-foot fall here that could have been the end of both of us.
Draymond had a whole basketball court. He could have stepped anywhere. He chose to step on Sabonis' chest. I was going for it with yours.
Oh, yeah.
Step by the computers here. We're in an office.
The difference is you didn't run out in the hall and try and rile up the crowd by yelling at management. Hey, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now, you bleep, 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 bleep?
Yeah, right. I didn't go out in the bullpen and call, Ryan Hickey every name in the book. No, because it's a place of business.
Yeah, and I don't think you would do that otherwise.
I thought about